Well, we are back with another crazy one today, guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Spencer. This is Top Line Racer. And yes, I did have a car stolen. First thing we want to do, though, is the last video, I didn't go over the damage report on the Blazer from when we went off-roading. So let's take a look at that real quick, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this video. In case you didn't catch our upload where we took the Hummer H2 and my '89 Chevy Blazer, $400 I purchased this guy for. We went to Roush Creek Off-Road Park, and, well, they both sustained some damage, but I think the Blazer came out a little bit worse for wear. What I noticed when I pulled in here this evening is it looks like, I believe it is at the actual diff cover, thankfully. I don't think it's up at the yoke, so I think we just need a new seal there for our diff because, yeah, we're leaking some fluid. I'm actually surprised there's that much fluid in there. I've never checked it before, but it looks like, you know, it's been all right. The rear window smashed out. That happened a while ago, though. Other than some rust and stuff, no real issues that way. However, we did, if you didn't see the video, I caught a rock really good with some momentum and dinged up my bumper here. Nothing too bad, but it did get into the fender as well. None of these body panels even matter. I'm just doing it for information stuff of what we kind of went through the other day. And I actually dinged this one up. This was at Lance's house the other week, and we dinged that up on another rock where you got to use some gusto sometimes. Now, this Blazer has been an absolute, like a rock, like Chevy says, to me since I bought it almost 2 years ago now. I have really done very little. I put tires on it. I did some ball joints, some like routine maintenance stuff. Otherwise, I've not done a thing to it, and it just keeps running. It starts up every time without any issues. I mean, it really is a perfect runner. The frame is not nearly as rusty as what the body of it is. Now, the things that are more important that now seem to have stopped working. I have no rear brakes. I think what happened is the fluid was a little bit low, and the section from the brake, and it's a two-section up in the reservoir, and I think it spilled over on one of the hills and then caught some air. So those will probably need to be bled. I don't think they're leaking. I think it was just a little low from over time and stuff, and so we got to get that straightened up. And four-wheel drive appears to not be working 100%. I've worked on a couple of these before. I know it's a vacuum system. I know the actuator or the vacuum canister that's under the battery. I have not taken anything apart yet to look at it. But it seems like the wheels are working, front wheels are working somewhat in four-wheel drive, because you can definitely tell when it engages. There was some hills where I was struggling. I put it in four-wheel drive and it started to go up, but it didn't have like enough power in the front wheels to actually like spin the tires or any of those things, like when you're trying to go up a hill or anything where it actually showed motion. But you could definitely tell a difference when it was when you were in four-wheel, so I don't know. Speaking of four-wheel drive, I actually just decided I think I'm going to start it up and try to see if it'll engage four-wheel drive, or maybe I'm crazy and just I happened to, you know, hit it at the right time where you know, two-wheel drive got me out of those situations. But it did seem like it was working at least a little bit. So I'm going to just set the camera down here and see if we can get this thing to go into four-wheel. All right, so I am turned real hard right here, put her in 4 high. Yeah, she's grabbing. So four-wheel is working right there. Here we go, this is two-wheel. I couldn't make it up if I really used it. Yeah, okay. So that's two-wheel. Don't have front rear brake here, and then let's try four-wheel, and I'll just ease it. Yeah, did the front wheel spin there? I don't know. I think they did. Now I think it is time to talk about our car that was stolen. Well, this is a video that I never pictured myself making. Behind me you see our 2005 Pontiac Grand Prix. It's not really a particularly cool car, anything you care about for the channel, and you really only ever see it in the background. Though I think I did make a buy or bust high miles review on it a while back. And it does have really high miles. It's at 325,000 on it. So that begs the question, why would anyone want to steal it? And I still don't really have the answer to that question. So the old Grand Prix is the car we use to run around. I use it like a truck. It is constantly filled with junk. We do not treat it nice. I change the oil about every 30 to 40,000 miles. Maybe not that far. But it's definitely gone 20 or 30,000 before I've changed it. It's got one of the most reliable engines ever created, the old 3.8 up front. And it really actually runs and drives like new. So it's a valuable car to us, to my wife and I, and we use it all the time. Like if I'm not driving one of the cars that you're seeing on the channel or whatever, we drive this. Like this is our #1 car. It gets 30 miles to the gallon on the highway, and we use it to drive everywhere. And we have for like six years, which is crazy because I usually keep cars for like 6 months. But my wife was driving up to see some of our friends in Vermont, and you might remember these people because they were in our video with the F-150. The F-150 that I rebuilt is my buddy Zach, is his truck, and we got to do that full build with rough country, which was really fun, and give him a pretty sweet truck at the end of it. So that was a really cool video series that we got to do, and we really are, really close friends. And I wasn't able to make it. I had to work. But my wife asked what car should she take up there to visit our friends for the weekend. And I said, well, take the Grand Prix. It's the most, it's so ridiculously reliable, even with that amount of miles. And we have AAA, so don't worry about that. But it's never broken down. And so I said, yeah, take the Grand Prix up. And so she did. And she stayed for the weekend, had a really nice time. And she was going to come home on, I forget it was Monday or Tuesday morning. And she gave me a call at like 10 in the morning and said, our car's gone. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, I think our car was stolen. And I said, did you call around to we know a couple different people up there, and I wouldn't mind if any of them used our car or anything, but it would be odd sort of for them to not, at least mention it, that they did. So she called around, and it had turned out that it was stolen. So they called the cops, they called everybody. Now there is some drug activity, this is out in the middle of the country where the car was parked, pretty far out. But a couple towns over, there is some drug activity and things like that, and things have gone missing before, but generally not in the area where our car was. Now, very thankfully, we had nothing of any real value. They had gone to the beach, so there was some beach supplies in the car and things, but it really was not too much. We had a little bit of cash, like $20 in the center console, and otherwise, there really wasn't anything of value other than our trash. So, I mean, good for those thieves. And I once we reported it stolen, and no, I don't have the insurance coverage, that it doesn't matter, the car's gone. I just have the very base, because the car's worth $500 on, its best day. So I just have the very minimal coverage on it. It just covers it if I wreck into somebody else and it fixes their car. So no comprehensive or collision or any of that. So I just figured out we're out of the car, and like I said, it's only $500, so it doesn't really, it's not the end of the world, other than it's like a car that has more value than $500 to us because we know how reliable it is. And so I wrote it off. I was like, well, we're not getting that car back. And we did decide, we're like, well, obviously I have some social media, so I posted it on Instagram. I never did anything on YouTube, but on Instagram I put some posts up and said, hey, can you please share this? Put it on my Facebook. We actually did get a bunch of shares, and it went into the local Facebook groups in that area where it was stolen. And so 2 days later, somebody commented underneath, hey, your car is sitting on such and such a street about, I don't know, it's probably 10 miles, 5 to 10 miles from where the car was stolen. So I called the police, and they went out to confirm, and sure enough, the car was there with the keys in it, and absolutely no damage. The only thing missing when we were done was the $20 that we had in cash in the center console. And the funny thing about the $20 is the car was on E, and it had a little bit more fuel than when we stopped driving it to when we got it picked up. At least we think. It's tough to remember. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think some of that $20 might have went to fuel that went into the car. So I don't know if someone just needed a joyride. I don't know if it was some drug-related activity. I don't know. But we got the car back, and it seems like they just, drove it, dumped it, and really, it was no harm, no foul, other than it delayed my wife's trip back home. So we're very thankful that we got it back. It wasn't the end of the world or anything like that. The police they really probably aren't going to do anything about it. They're not dusting it for prints or anything like that because we got the car back. There was no, you know, dangerous illegal activities or anything like that other than a minor, you know, sort of inconvenience to us. But I just couldn't go and not share this crazy story with you because, like, I mean, hopefully you've never had a car stolen. But if you have, you know, it's kind of an interesting experience. So now I think we have to keep this car forever because it has been through everything. It's been through like 3 or 4 accidents. It was either broken into or damaged. I don't know. It's weird. On the driver's door, we think it was tried to be broken into, but it looks like maybe somebody like backed up and hit a wall with it or something. And we valeted it and came back with the door all damaged. So that happened. The one time the transmission and power steering lines rusted out, and I thought it was all. I thought it was just power steering because I ran tranny fluid in it, so it was all red. And I thought it was just power steering because power steering was whining, and then I ran it without tranny fluid or like low for, I don't know, like 2 months till we got that straightened out. So, you know, but the transmission still shifts good. So it's been through everything. It's been jumped. It's had 10-foot lumber. You know, like we use it as a truck. So just a crazy story, and we're thankful to have the old girl back. So thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll be back to kind of normal content next video.